How's it going, Eliminators? Today we're going to be taking a look at some OEM Briggs and Stratton tools that are used when repairing riding lawnmower starters. So let's get right into it. So I have a starter here, and this starter is actually from a Tecumseh snowblower engine, so an HMSK 8090, that's an 8 or 9 horse Tecumseh engine. And you guys can already see that I've replaced the gear, but I wanted to show you the tools that I used to do that, and they're over there. But quickly getting back to this starter, there's going to be a little dust cap on top of this starter, and it's just press fit, so you're going to be able to just pull that right off. You guys can see inside of there, it is just a piece of plastic that prevents all of this from getting caked with debris. So on a snowblower, let's say water, ice, whereas a riding lawnmower, you could imagine a bunch of grass and dirt getting in there. Now these starters, they're all pretty much built the same way. They're going to have a gear. Some of them are going to have this soft rubber dust cover, and that just prevents a bunch of debris from getting inside of the starter. This gear here rides on a threaded post, and you guys can see as it rotates, it lifts up. So when you go to engage the starter, this pushes out and engages the teeth on your flywheel. You guys can see there's a spring there, so that when you let off of the spring-loaded start position on your key switch, that gear will snap back down. There's going to be a little retainer here, and if we depress that, you guys are going to see that little ring up top. So for the purpose of showing you guys just a little more clearly what I'm talking about, I've gone ahead and used a pair of needle nose locking pliers to clamp the spring and the retainer down so that I can show you the little ring there. And that ring just holds that retainer and spring from popping off. Now let's say you wanted to go ahead and remove that ring clip because your gear was damaged. I can show you what a damaged gear looks like. Pretty much the teeth have just all broken off of them. So in order to get the gear off, you have to get that little ring clip off. Now, the old-fashioned way is we used to use a pair of needle nose pliers. We would go in there and then we would try to pry apart the needle nose pliers to expand that ring to pop it off. And I've also seen videos where guys have gone in just using a slotted screwdriver on both sides, and they pry it up and outwards to try to open up that little ring there. And while that method may work, it's not the way that the manufacturers do it. So like I said, I have a C-ring remover tool and a C-ring installation tool. They are made by Briggs and Stratton. The remover is a part number 19522, and the installation tool is a 19435. So we have the tool here, and you guys can see that it's essentially just two jaws, and then it has a threaded post in the middle. And if we take a look at this diagram here, you guys can see that the post pushes up against the back of the C-ring, holding it in place. And then as you thread that rod in, what happens is the jaws open up the C-ring, and that's how it removes it. So you guys can see that the two jaws just go in between where the opening is on that C-ring. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten that, and it will hold the back of the C-ring, and it will open the C-ring up. Now the C-ring is sitting inside of a little divot, so you are going to have to open it up to get it past the head on the top of that shaft. Now once you've opened this up far enough to the point where you should be able to just pull it off, and then now you can go ahead and remove your retainer, remove your spring, pull up and remove the gear, and then go ahead and install your new replacement gear. Now, when we are repairing starters, we use quality Stens repair kits. So for this specific 37,000 series Tecumseh starter, we've used a Stens 435-804 starter drive gear kit. So inside of that, it's going to have your new gear, your dust cap, new C-clip, pretty much everything you need to go ahead and get your starter back operational again. So now that you've seen how the C-ring remover tool works, we're going to have to reinstall this little C-ring here, and for that we're going to be using the installation tool. And this guy here is a little bit different, but all it is basically a shaft with 4 relief cuts cut into it, which allows for expansion. Now you're going to notice that there is a little step inside of the installation tool, and that inside step there is what holds the C-ring in place. So you'd line it up something like this. I have the ring just sitting on that little step there. But the idea is you just hold this on top of your starter, just like that. Put it on top and hammer it down, and then that should open the C-ring up, because of these relief cuts here that allows this tool to expand, it will push and expand the C-ring around the head on the shaft there, and then that outside is what's going to be pressing down and closing up your C-ring onto the starter shaft. So here's the instructions, and I'm going to point out something that the Briggs and Stratton starters have that this Tecumseh starter doesn't have, and it is a beveled edge on the top of the starter shaft. So as you guys can see here, we don't have that beveled of an edge there. So that's going to limit how well this tool works. Now, before I use the tool to install the C-ring onto the shaft, the old way that we used to install them is quite simple. You just take a pair of pliers and you go ahead and you squeeze on that C-ring until it closes itself around that little bevel there, and it works. I mean, that's pretty much the way that we've always done it. But for the sake of buying a tool, because I do like to buy the OEM tools and collect them and see which ones actually work real good. So in the end, you're going to get the same results. Obviously, a pair of pliers is much cheaper than buying a tool. But like I said, I like to have these tools at my disposal whenever I'm working on stuff. It's always nice to just go ahead and go grab the tool that was designed for that specific job. So just using my soft blow hammer, I gave the tool just a couple light hits, nothing too crazy. And you guys can see that it just expands just enough to go ahead and put some pressure on that C-ring. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off, and then we'll see what the C-ring looks like. Now this should be quite easy to pull off. Obviously, because of the relief cuts, it is spring-loaded. So now we can go ahead and look, and our C-ring here is installed. There's just a little bit of play, but not too much. You guys can see, though, the tool kind of eats up the edges of that C-ring just a little bit. And I'm sure if this was an OEM Briggs and Stratton starter with the little bevel on the top of the shaft, it would have went on much easier. And just for the sake of seeing if the pliers close up that C-ring anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and try to show you guys. You see how it closes up? That's not much at all. But what I want to show you guys is once we go ahead and remove the locking pliers here, and we take them off of the starter shaft, this retainer here is going to help keep that C-ring closed and basically keeps it from coming off or opening up any more than it already is. And once you're done your installation, go ahead and take your dust cap, put it on top, press that down. Like I said, it's just a snap fit, and there you go. You've successfully replaced the gear on your starter. So in the end, you guys are going to want to know my honest opinion. Are these tools worth it? Well, I would say that the C-ring remover tool is 100% worth it, because you don't have to go ahead and pry the rings off with 2 slotted screwdrivers. You just can go ahead and put the clamp on, tighten it up, and it pops the ring right off. Now, just so you guys know, the cost for the remover tool when I purchased it was $66.50. Now, this tool also lists on Amazon.ca for like $98.71. So I'm sure you could find this tool for cheaper, maybe on eBay, or you might even be able to find an aftermarket version. Obviously, because I purchased a Briggs and Stratton OEM tool, it's going to cost a little bit more. Now, as for the C-ring installer tool, is that going to be worth it? Well, I don't really think it is. It makes it pretty simple to just go ahead and install the C-ring in one foul swoop. You go ahead, you put the C-ring on top, you line up that tool, and then you go ahead and hit it with a hammer, and it pops it right on. You pop the tool off, and you're done. The installation is now complete. But you can do the same thing using a pair of pliers. And just so you guys know, for the installer tool, my cost was $55.25. And this installer tool also lists on Amazon for $83.55. But again, you can probably find that cheaper somewhere on eBay, or again, maybe if you sourced it from an aftermarket manufacturer. So I probably wouldn't suggest this to somebody who is just getting into the business. You're not going to be doing starter repairs all that often, but like I said, guys, this one right here, the 19522 C-ring remover tool, definitely worth the money. So in the end, these tools aren't really going to be a necessity for anyone in the small engine repair business. Obviously, you can complete these tasks removing the C-ring and reinstalling the C-ring once you've replaced your broken gear, just by using basic tools. Like I said, slotted screwdrivers, so they're commonly referred to as flathead screwdrivers. You go in there with 2 and you pry the ring off. you replace your gear, and then you go ahead and use a pair of pliers to squeeze the ring back on. You'll probably have these tools laying around your shop already. It might take a little bit longer because you'll be messing around with it. Whereas for what I'm doing, I go ahead and buy the OEM tools and the job's complete, and it doesn't take me much time at all. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, think about leaving me a thumbs up. You know, it really helps me out. You can click here to subscribe and click over here to watch one of my previous videos. I upload every single week, so be sure to stop on by next week, check channel out for new content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.